Exercise. Read and follow the directions in the book. Example. Excerpt from a lecture on 8 steps of topic analysis for library research.
The 7th step is very similar to the 2nd step. The 2nd step broke the topic up into subtopics. In this next step, you're looking at a topic and trying to see it in terms of its in the broadest possible way. And it asks you to think about all the academic subjects, the academic disciplines, that might have something to say, that might have something to contribute to a discussion on your particular subject. And one of the reasons for doing this is different academic disciplines, different academic subjects, look at the same topic from very different vantage points. They have very different views of the same topic. And sometimes, if you are deciding on an approach to a topic, how you want to discuss it in your particular paper, you may decide to approach it from an economics viewpoint rather than a political science viewpoint, a religious viewpoint rather than a legal viewpoint. So think about academic disciplines, academic subjects that might have something to say about your topic, and think about the different ways that they might address the issues that are discussed in your particular subject.
1. Excerpt from a lecture on marriage and divorce trends in the United States.
Okay, let's go to 1940. And you know that 1940 was pretty much close to the beginning of World War II. It was pre-war, more or less. What do you think happens before a war? Any ideas? People get married, yes. I think that a lot of times people get married much more quickly than they would have in normal times because men are going off to war. They want to get married first, and then they go. Well, that's what happened. The marriages in 1940, there were 1,595,879 marriages, and this occurred at a rate of 12.1 per 1,000, so that you can see the great increase in the number of marriages.
2. Excerpt from a lecture on marriage and divorce trends in the United States.
So far, we haven't seen any great increases in divorces, okay? But 1945, what happened then? The men came home. The men who did come home, what do you think happened then? Well, let's look at marriages first. The marriage rate stayed about the same. There were 12.2 per 1,000, and the number of marriages was 1,612,992. That was about the same as in 1940. The number of divorces was 485,000, and that occurred at a rate of 3.5 per 1,000. So you can see that the divorce rate soared. And we can probably draw some conclusions about what separations do for marriages. Some people think, what's the saying, absence makes the heart grow fonder? Other people think, out of sight, out of mind. And I think the last one might hold better as seen in these statistics.
3. Excerpt from a lecture on Asian Pacific immigration to the United States.
And the third wave of immigration started after 1965, when the U.S. changed its immigration laws. Previously, the number of Asians had been kept very small because there was a quota, a limit, on people from certain parts of the world coming. And each Asian country, even after a restriction was lifted, could send only about 100 people into the country each year. But after the laws were changed, each Asian country was allowed a quota of 20,000 immigrants under the quota and more outside of the quota, people who were dependents. So the people started coming from many countries, a very rapid increase in Asian immigration.
4. Excerpt from a lecture on acid rain.
Okay, as we know, acid rain has increased with industrialization. We have not always had acid rain. When they look at glaciers from about 200 years ago, they find that the water had a pH close to what we'd expect of theoretically pure water. So, what can we do about this problem of acid rain then? We do need to put some controls, or possibly put some controls on the production of acid rain, perhaps by shifting to alternative non-polluting sources of energy, solar power, wind power, and so on. Or another way is to create technology to reduce the release of sulfur and nitrogen, the two chemicals which are primarily responsible for acid rain. Technology to prevent these chemicals from being released into the atmosphere. The problem with both of these ideas is that they both cost money, so the costs and benefits need to be weighed.